Motherfuckers, welcome to hell. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you. We got a killer show planned for today. Welcome to hell, episode 15, Demo Stacks, volume 6. So get ready for some old demo talk. Gonna play some clips, give you an idea what they sound like. Most of you probably already know, but got to be careful with the copyright stuff, as I've been yapping about recently. But we'll sneak some snippets of some of the songs on these demos in there. Got some cool stuff planned. Gonna do a black metal series of the demo stacks. Some of these are pretty mind-blowing. I forgot I even had some of these. Quick little preview. Boom, boom, boom. That's all you get. You might have missed it. But oh well. I'm gonna do right now. I got like 4 black metal demo shows lined up. I mean, I could do a bunch more. Just trying to pick some of the interesting ones, the best ones, my favorites, all that type of shit. Pretty much all lines up like that. And people have requested some of the favorite LPs of mine. Going to be doing some of those shows too. Going to throw that into the mix. Some of the classic, all-time classic fucking albums. Here's another quick preview. Whoa! Some of my favorites. All-timers. Whoa! So, that's all you get. Be posted about that. Coming up, got a bunch of other stuff planned, though. A couple more interviews. Like, again, the interviews are tough. Thanks, everybody, for, watching the interview with my buddy Rhett. He's one of my oldest friends. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, we went longer than the Caton interview, which I never thought I would do, man, because Caton and I were chatting for 3.5 hours. That was awesome. And then Rhett and I almost hit the 4-hour mark. So, yeah, but we didn't even get into everything. So I wanted to focus just on the early MORGION days pretty much. And then, of course, movies and TV shows and other records that influence us, because that's what we talk about on a regular basis, Rhett and I, all the fucking time. A lot of movies and TV shows, because we're really we like to nerd out on that shit. Grew up on it, just as important as music to us. A lot of classic movie and TV shows. But without further ado, let's get in to the demo stacks. Let's fucking go. All right, we're going to start with my boys from Orange County, California, the mighty MORGION. Now, I couldn't find a fucking old school MORGION logo by itself, so I just used the cover. And I actually had planned on having MORGION as part of this Demo Stacks collection prior to the way the interview schedule went with Rhett. So, whatever. Fucking doesn't really fucking matter. we're gonna fucking talk about them. Whatever. A lot of more John Love on this fucking show, especially the old stuff. So here it is. If you did watch the show with Rhett and I, then you know the story about this band. We were having some party sessions, I guess, a drinking session and smoking session, whatever, the usual at the Extinction of God compound back in the day. And 1990. And Jeremy was friends with us. He went to a different high school, the singer bass player of MORGION, but we used to run into him, and then we became friends, obviously, because being a crazy underground metalhead back in the day, it was a small fucking world. So anyways, we're having this drinking smoking session over at the Extinction of God headquarters in Anaheim, and listening to music as usual. It all revolved around crazy music. And at one point, Jeremy snuck over to the stereo and put this demo in. And we're just like, oh, fuck, what's this? We thought it was a Swedish band. And we're all fucking getting into it because it was killer, And finally, Jeremy's like, oh, this is my band, MORGION. What? Oh, shit. Cool, man. Fucking awesome. And I was good friends with these guys. Met Rhett shortly thereafter that, going to shows, a lot of backyards and small shows in Santa Ana and the Hong Kong Cafe. There's a place in Santa Ana called the Salon Mexico right off of Harbor. Old Mexican restaurant and bar, and a bunch of Orange County and LA cats used to book shows there. So saw MORGION there. My old band Malfunction started playing with them a few years later, and we became really good friends. They became part of the Extinction of God crew for sure, and we became part of the MORGION crew. And being part of their ascent out of the underground and into the heavy metal mainstream, and bigger and better things at that point. But back in the day, this right here was something else. It was heavy as all fuck, man. Sounded like a Swedish or Finnish band. Definitely influenced by that stuff, by the English stuff. Just really fucking lot of good slow parts. Obviously, Paradise Lost, Autopsy, Entombed Nihilist. So those are definitely the big influences. So the band itself was formed in 1990. There's 5 songs on here and an intro, which is the Drowning in Sorrow intro. It's an instrumental, starts things off. I the Skeptic is the first actual song with vocals. In the Process is next. Gothic Decorum is after that, and then it is ended by Encased in Glass. Very, very famous demo for us, here in Southern California. And the fact that, EOG, we actually helped the boys distribute this demo around. We made copies and gave them to friends and whatnot with their blessing. That was, kind of a tape trader thing back then. We weren't really selling it. We were just kind of getting it to the right people, trading it. And then the boys were able to secure a deal with Richard C. over at Wild Rags, because Richard was working with local bands. Obviously everybody knows that, he worked with Sadistic Intent before the Impending Doom. He used to help get their Conflict Within demo out there. And Mind Rot, the 1990 demo, the infamous Heavy as Fuck demo, Richard also put that out. And Rabid Decay is another one. It's up there with those. Those are 3 of the classics, and MORGION's right up there with those other 2, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it was fun times back then. These guys were really talented, good buddies, so we were really happy for them. And They, like I said, it was just heavy as fuck, and they were great live. Rhett and Jeremy had long fucking hair. They're headbanging. Dwayne, the guitar player, just fucking chilling, kind of bobbing around. They had a lot of lineup issues. So this classic photo is just Rhett, Jeremy, and Dwayne. I think that's the Fairhaven Cemetery in Santa Ana, although Rhett was kind of wondering if that was somewhere in Anaheim possibly, because we had a big cemetery in Anaheim too. We used to go get drunk in and stuff. It was, blasphemy style, man. Go in there and get drunk, maybe, grab some bones and a tombstone. Whoa, hey. No. I'm not going to say that in public. Oops. But there's the cover of the classic demo itself. So yeah, this demo is 30 minutes of absolute death metal brutality. After this demo, they did, there was a bunch of bands in Orange County. There was a big scene here. So we had the Sureguard scene. Rhett and I talked about that too. Sureguard Storage in Santa Ana. It was off the 5 freeway, and a lot of bands got rooms there that we would share. A lot of us would just go down there and hang out. I was in a few bands down there jamming around or just hanging out with the guys. 7 days a week, you can go down there and run into somebody that's jamming in one of the bands. Mind Rot, Morgion, Phobia, Carcinogen, Dystopia, Dead America, Gasp, Malfunction, at Life Without, Scab. I mean, there was a bunch of bands, side projects, and just jams and hanging out. And yeah, it was great times. So Morgion and Mind Rot had one of the big rooms. It was like the showcase room. They had a stage set up in there and everything. And those two heavyweights of death metal shared that room. And also Jim Barnes' recording studio was up the street from there. Now, Jim was an engineer. He later went on to work with a lot of Relapse stuff, Deceased. He worked on the first Mind Rot album, but he did the demos and Morgion did a live in the studio demo. So you've seen the Mind Rot one around. There was a Dystopia one. I know Phobia did one. Not sure if Carcinogen ever did. Dystopia did one, and Morgion did one. Now, they never put it out like the other bands did, but they just handed it out to friends, of course. We got a copy, and that was the next thing that they did. And it was just a thing. Jim Barnes really had a good sound. He knew what he was doing, and he was able to capture, it was awesome having somebody that understood metal, and heavy guitars and pounding drums and the death metal vocals, obviously. So it was cool. Shortly after that, here is it's definitely one of my favorite 7 inches of all time in the history of death metal, if not my absolute favorite. It's up there, man. It's 2 songs, but it's just fucking absolutely incredible. I think it's my favorite stuff they've ever done. I just love it. Our buddies John Lee and Bill Kim put this out. You might know John. He was also the singer of my band Malfunction, and he went on to do Catatonic Records and Half-Life Records and Distro. Put out a bunch of grindcore and all kinds of different crazy shit. A lot of grind, some death metal stuff. I don't know if he's still active, but the label was around for a very long time. And he put this out with our buddy Bill. I'd shown a picture of Bill a couple episodes back. And yeah, they put this out. Absolute classic. Crushing. And that was put out in 1993. So if you got a copy of this, you're lucky because it's pretty rare. Then shortly after that, they did Among Majestic Ruin. They ended up getting on Relapse and putting that out. They did this one with Jim Barnes as well, I believe. A couple of lineup changes. They got Bobby and Ed in there. there was it was mainly Rhett, Jeremy, and Dwayne for a little while as the core, and then they had people coming and going. This is the album that most people know them by. This is the type of stuff that, like, I've told the guys too. It was great. I used to go to their band practices, either at Sureguard, then they moved to another storage facility up on another part of Anaheim, like on the Buena Park border. It might have been Buena Park, it's kind of by Knott's Berry Farm, and the other side of the 5 freeway. And so they were jamming there, and I used to go over there and just hang out all the time. It was pretty close to where I was living. So it was really fucking awesome getting really stoned and listening to these guys create this album. That's when Gary came into the mix. Gary was actually my engineer for Ruin up until around 2018. He retired from doing music-related projects, and I believe he might have moved out of state. But yeah, between 2015 and 2018 to around 2019, early 19, he was one of the main engineers for Ruin that worked on all the Ruin stuff for me. So he actually joined MORGION for this era, and that's how I met Gary, became friends. And yeah, this album is not necessarily my cup of blood, so to speak, my cup of tea, but it's excellent. Definitely driving music, driving out to the desert, to the mountains, put on some Solinary. And then this was later, after some lineup stuff, and I'd never really got into this album too much. It's all good, man. I love these guys, but never really got into it. People know them by this as well. It was on a different label, I believe, because I know Solinary was on Relapse, and that's when they did a lot of the touring, the Contamination. They went out there with Today's the Day, Exhumed. I think Nasm played some of the shows. I showed that picture of the guys in front of CBGB's. So they were doing a bunch of stuff. And then this Dark Descent put this out a few years back. It was cool. I wasn't aware of this, or if I was, I forgot about it. Rhett said that this artwork concept was supposed to be the demo cover, but back then we didn't have a bunch of artists like we have now. There's artists all over the place. You could just go to Instagram or Facebook and run into people, or just do a post. Hey, I need art done. Who do you recommend? And bam, you got like 40 people. Back then, you didn't have that, so you basically got that out of Fangoria magazine. That's one of the zombies from the remake of Night of the Living Dead that Tom Savini did in like 1989, and then it's just a black and white version of it because that was a actual color version movie, full color. So you just had to go to Kinko's or the mom and pop copy places and do some Fangoria. There's that. So this is the compilation that Dark Descent put out a few years back. Like I said, it's got the Rabid Decay demo, the Live in the Studio, and the Travesty 7-inch. All crushing stuff. Really fucking badass. So real quick, let me play a little bit of Rabid Decay of the demo. Heavy duty. Gotta love it. Fuck yeah. That gives you a basic idea how badass this is. They were, to me, MORGION was among the kings of straight up heavy death metal from this demo through 93, you know, through the Travesty and the Live in the Studio. So get that Dark Descent comp if you want to see what I'm talking about there. Go get it. I'm sure it's out there on CD. Classic. So hails to MORGION. And Rhett and I did talk a little bit about some of the shows that they played. They played with Entombed and Unleashed. Opened that one. They opened for Massacre. And Grave was on that tour as well. And then they opened for Grave a couple more times when they were headlining. And then also, you know, the Relapse tour stuff. They were all over the place, playing around all over the United States. At some point, they got over to Europe too, the Domination tour with, I think it was Mourning Beloved from Ireland. And that was like in the mid 2000s. So they did that too. But yeah, and then here locally, there were so many great local bands, you know, so they played with the heavy hitters like Sadistic Intent, Demolition, and of course the other brothers from Orange County like Phobia, Mind Rot, Carcinogen, Dystopia. So there was endless amounts of shows all the time even back then. It was a special time for sure. So hails to MORGION and the Rabid Decay demo. All right, let's move on. All right, sickos. Up next, 13. Heavy ladies right here, man. There definitely wasn't a lot of women doing sickening, disgusting, heavy music back then. So that was definitely interesting. And there was rumblings about 13 and about this demo. We were obviously curious, like, whoa, what the fuck, you know? That's fucking badass. And the music, see, there was a lot of hype because of that, you know? And the music backed it up, though. They were fucking heavy as fuck. So 13 was formed in New York in 1992. Here's an old logo, or their main logo. Classic shit. Definitely crusty and hand-drawn. Tons of patches all over the fucking place back in the day. Here's the ladies. Brutal. Got the one dude in the band there. New Yorkers. Looking chillin'. So, yeah, demo number 1 was in May of 1992. Never got this one myself. Don't know anybody that has it out here on the West Coast, but possibly if you know anybody or if you have it, you know, leave a comment on the episode here. That'd be interesting. I don't know what this sounds like. I think it's on YouTube. When I was doing my research, I ran into it, so I'll have to check it out. I don't have a lot of time to focus on, you know, some stuff when I'm making these videos. So I'm focusing on the recording that I'm talking about here. But if I do have one of these other demos, sometimes I'll throw it up. Yeah, I got, you know, there's a couple extra demos that aren't the main focus here with a couple of these other bands, and I do have some of the others. But yeah, this one I don't have. So there it is. This is demo number 2, and they put this out in July of 1992. So we're going to focus on this, obviously, because that's what this is. And 3 songs: Wither, Bound, and Plague. These songs get put out quite a bit during this time period on 7 inches and comps. And so, yeah, they released these songs different versions, and I don't know. I think they sounded like they might even be the same recording on, one of the 7 inches or whatnot, but whatever. Fucking the band fucking rules. So that's what they were doing. And it got around. They were fucking heavy duty. I never got to see them live because they never played out here, but my friends that did see him over on the East Coast, and some of my friends out here that were able to go out there and see him, said they were fucking crushing. Incredible. So that's badass. Yeah, real quick. So the far right, that's Liz. Everybody, all the boys had a crush on Liz back in the day. She's beautiful and a ripper on guitar. And she went on to Sour Vein and now Electric Wizard. So everybody knows Liz. She fucking rules. Alicia's there in the middle, I believe. I think that's her. That's who we got in contact with her. And she was totally fucking cool. She wanted to get reviewed in the zine. I think it was even the first issue. So yeah, we did, man. And we were in contact with her. She ended up writing for Metal Maniacs later, and we did the second issue. And back in the day, we were young, dumb, full of cum. We were hanging out with strippers and going to LA and hanging out with these crazy Salvadorian girls at these clubs that were out there, these dance clubs. So me and Bart were hanging out with a lot of nice ladies. Bart was dating a stripper, so that means I was dating some strippers too. So, yeah. So, and Bart liked taking pictures of some of his activities. So he posted some of the pictures in the zine. And, how the ladies love EOG. But Alicia, she didn't like that. She thought it was sexist and she was pissed off. So she gave us a really shitty review in Metal Maniacs and, wasn't our friend anymore or whatever. I don't know. I was laughing about it. I just thought it was stupid. Bart was pretty pissed in a way, but whatever. She was out here. She ended up hooking up with Mike from I Hate God, and we were friends with I Hate God, so we used to go follow them around when they'd play, go to different shows up to Santa Barbara, San Diego, LA, Orange County, whatever. So Alicia was tagging along a couple times or whatever. We didn't really talk with her. I don't even know if she knew who we were. We just kind of avoided her. But best to keep the peace at that point. We're hanging out with the I Hate God guys anyways. So yeah. Regardless, fucking killer band. She didn't like us too much. Oh well. Next thing they did a 7-inch on Kitchen Guy Records. Don't know if that was their label. That's the only release. Hollow and Bound, like I said, those songs get a lot of play. 13 releases. Not really, like I said, I think the label just did this, so it probably is Liz's label. Someone connected with her. Then they did the split with Grief. And Grievance Records, that was Terry, my buddy Terry. What's up, Terry? I don't know if he's watching. Terry from Grief and now Come to Grief. He did Grievance Record, put out a lot of the early Grief stuff like Dismal and some of the old vinyl releases, and it was fucking killer getting that old Grief stuff. But they did this split with 13, aka that's right, Thunder Pussy 13. That was their original name, Thunder Pussy 13. Well, they just went with 13. Wanted to be a little bit more serious, although Thunder Pussy 13 is a fucking awesome name. And then they did a couple splits with I Hate God. There's the Whore. And that one was on Action Records. Yeah, that's right. My boy Charlie Infection, man. Later, Fudgeworthy. He did the Ruin Violation Wound split. And Charlie's old friends with me. He's old friends with Reifert, so it was perfect. We dedicated that split to Jim Sadis, Ned Slaughter. Rest in peace, Jim. But, because Jim was friends with Charlie too. Charlie's been around forever, so he knows everybody. Charlie rules. Action Records is a label that him and the Psycho guys started. Action Records did like a Napalm Death demo bootleg, did some Agathocles. I think they did the Agathocles Psycho split. Hevo Hedge, which is Paul Ledney's other band that, other than Profanatica, they're fucking killer. They did a Nazem, a 7-inch, I believe, and then they did a Rot Psycho split and a bunch of other stuff. Action was a classic label. And the cool thing about Action is they had a really killer distro, Infection Distro. But Action Records used to have ads everywhere. Maximum Rock and Roll, a lot of the underground death metal fanzines and stuff. Charlie was active on both punk and hardcore and death metal and grindcore and everything. So, yeah, it was a good time. So this one came out in late '94. And then they did another split with I Hate God. This one was on Slapaham, and this is Wrong. And hey, it's a new song that wasn't released before. Everybody knows the Slapaham history. Chris rules. He put out my band, Gasp, the Jerome Trailer album. Some of you might be aware of that. Put out a lot of classic power violence and grindcore stuff, even some death metal stuff. Even Melvins, that's cool. And too much to name. But yeah, Chris put this out too. Split with I Hate God, the second split. And then also 13 was featured on Cry Now, Cry Later, the infamous 7-inch compilation series back in the day. Ended up getting re-released on CD later. Bunch of stuff, tons and tons of bands. Gasp was on one, but 13 was on the very first one. And Writhe. This was actually 93, so we're going backwards for this. But yeah, it's my boy Chris Pessimizer, the classic Pessimizer fanzine. Chris Elder, also the singer of Despise You, to try to get him on this show with a chat one of these days. He's an old buddy. Did the Hour of the Goat radio show with Phil from Crom. That was good times. But yeah, this fucking demo, it's heavy as fuck. Like I said, there was a lot of hype because they were ladies and females weren't known for playing heavy duty shit like this. It was very few and far between. You had Durketta as well, but 13 definitely made their mark with ladies playing some heavy duty stuff. So there's a classic demo. I'll play a little bit of it real quick before we move on. Check it out. Duty. Go check out the full demo on YouTube if you want, or if you got a copy of this, go bust it out. I know that somebody put out a compilation tape too. I didn't get really information about it. Pretty much has everything. It's like a discography. Or discography, not a compilation. Well, it is a compilation, but you know what I mean. 13 discography. Go check it out. Fucking classic shit. All right, moving on, you fucking sickos. Sin Eater. Consummation of sin. Sin, sin, sin. Killer fucking band. From Akron, Ohio. They actually started as Carnage in 1988. They changed the name to Sin Eater in 1989. Now, I believe that the Extinction of God fanzine compilation tape had Sin Eater on there, and that's how we got in contact with these guys. So this is a killer fucking demo. It's got, classic putrid death metal sound, raw, but good slow passages, good fast shit, good mix. Now let's actually start off with playing a little bit of Sin Eater. Here you go. There we go. Sorry about that little delay. Fuck yeah. I see people sometimes talking about like some idiot, one of the YouTube links of this, and it might have been somewhere else, talking about, oh, it's kind of amateurish, whatever. What do you fucking think a demo is, man? So yeah, some demos have a professional presentation with the cover, and they have a pro sound studio. Doesn't matter. It's a demonstration cassette. You know what I mean? So one of the reasons why old assholes like me like this stuff is it's just raw as fuck. It's like we're in the rehearsal room with these fuckers. So yeah, fucking start nitpicking shit like that. This isn't an old Morbid Angel album or something. It's fucking or fucking Scott Burns produced fucking death metal classic record by any means, but it's fucking badass, man. Sin Eater is fucking badass. So yeah, so they changed the name of Sin Eater in 89, and they had the Waiting Within demo. Real quick, let me bust out their logo. There's the logo of Sin Eater. And then the band photo, there's the boys in the forest hanging out, looking for trouble. All hashed out. That's the fucking 90s Hessians right there, baby. Fuck yeah. So this is the Waiting Within demo in 1989. Don't have this one. They didn't include it on the other side of this Consummation of Sin demo. Some pen pals would do that, with us, but like I said, I think these guys were trying to get on the EOG compilation, so they just wanted to focus on this, which is this one here, what I just played you. So Consummation of Sin, 1991. It's got 4 songs: Short of Breath, The Medium, Unleashed Wickedness, and The True Name of God are the songs on there. So they they started making some waves, and they had planned. Get rid of this. There we go. They had planned to do a 7-inch. Not really sure what label. Didn't find that information out. But the band broke up. The songs ended up coming out years later, 2016. This release. So it's just a CD release. I think it was self-financed. And I haven't been able to check it out. Maybe I'll try to listen to it. But I thought that was interesting. Dismal Records put out this CD. So that's Dwayne Morris. He was, let's see, I think he was in pretty much every single band in Ohio at one point. Decrepit, Incantation. Well, they're not from Ohio, but he was in Incantation for a bit. Terror, Embalmer, Nunslaughter. Yeah, pretty much every band member from the state of Ohio, Dwayne was in. Dwayne's a killer guitar player, good dude. But he does Dismal Records, so he put this out for the boys, probably good buddies with him. And he also put out like Manticore, Blood of Christ, Funeral Pyre. Again, a lot of bands from that region. And I think I was reading that Dan from Sin Eater, he had left and formed a band called Worm Feast around 1990, 91, but then Sin Eater and Worm Feast kind of just joined forces and stuck with Sin Eater, and that's what we have here with the demo. So, good stuff. This is a classic band from back in the day. Go hunt their stuff down. If you don't mind raw, garage type productions on your demo tapes, you fuckers. Keep those stupid armchair quarterback comments to yourself. You just can't help yourself, can you? All right, Sin Eater from Ohio, one of the old favorites, one of the classic demos, hopefully not forgotten. Go check it out. All right, moving on. We're going to Australia. Disembowelment. Since it doesn't have a logo on there. This is the Morning September demo. One of my all-time favorites. So I actually used to write to Renato. He was the guitar player singer at the time. Disembowelment was formed in 1989 in Melbourne, Australia. Brutal doom death. Even had some blast beats in there. You're pretty familiar with this band, I'm sure. They ended up on Relapse. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But yeah, this first demo was released in 1990. 3 songs and an intro, which is the Morning September title track. That's the introduction. And there's also an outro. But the songs are Impoverished Filth, Extracted Nails, and Thou Messiah. Extracted Nails made its way around on a few releases, so you're probably familiar with that song. Let's get into their classic logo. I need a shirt with this logo, man. I need to hunt that down. Maybe I should just make one. Used to be able to make, shirts at Kinko's when I was really little, a kid, going to the Glendale Galleria up in North LA. There was a stand that you could make your own shirts there. So I got Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Scorpions, AC/DC, Priest, Maiden, all that good shit, Ozzy. Got those shirts made, but my Motley Crue Shout at the Devil was yellow with the full color cover on the front. That was my favorite for a while. I thought I was badass, man. I was just a little fucking dork. Anyways, back to Disembowelment. Classic band photo. Yeah, look at that. Classic. Mortician, Grave. I see a Nausea shirt. I think that's Renato. And is that might be, I can't read the other shirt on the right there, but yeah, you know, a lot of times back in the day, that's how we got to know bands, right? So if you weren't familiar with Mortician or Nausea, you'd be like, oh, you know, maybe you're a kid in Australia. You're like, you know, who's Mortician? Who's Nausea? That's how you found out. That's how we found out about stuff in a lot of ways. So here is the demo layout of this brutality. Let's play a little bit. Let me time this properly. I keep randomly playing the songs. Yeah, that's some fucking doomy and gloomy shit, isn't it? They were definitely, I mean, a lot of this stuff just reminds me of like a death metal hellhammer, you know? They were really fucking just, it's almost like funeral doom on this demo. But, you know, there's some, they became a little bit more dynamic in a lot of ways later on, adding, you know, some death metal parts, some grindcore stuff, blast beats and stuff like that. But it mainly, you know, they mainly focused on the slow stuff. They were pretty much like that for most of their career. But, you know, especially this demo. This demo is definitely the filthiest, slowest of their style in that sense. So this was the next demo, Deep Sensory Procession into Oral Fate, 1991. I got that one too from Minato. There it is. Good stuff. Like I said, a little bit more dynamic. Some death metal parts, some blast beats. It's a little bit different than this, but still, it's still Disembowelment, still very similar. You know, killer, totally killer stuff. It's not like not saying they changed a whole hell of a lot, but you know, it's definitely we're expanding their sound a little bit more, and that was out in '91. Also, on the cool thing is Renato included this rehearsal on the other side of this. So when he sent me this, on the other side, I got this rehearsal of them jamming some songs in the studio that later, you know, were on the Dusk EP and the Transcendence and the Peripheral album. Which here are those. Both excellent. A little bit more progressive, I guess, production sound-wise. You know, you can tell they were changing a little bit with the dynamics. Still heavy as fuck. Just a little fuller, you know. It's hard to explain. You just have to listen to it. You'll see what it, you know. The demos obviously are always really raw. So, you know, a lot of times when bands have more of a budget, you know, they get on a label or whatever, the sound, you know, sometimes it suffers, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse, as far as I'm concerned, you know. A lot of times the demos have that raw energy, but some people prefer the actual releases too. So yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And then there's the infamous album that a lot of people love so much. It was excellent. Very dark, foreboding, trippy, different. A lot of different types of elements. they definitely, once they got on the Relapse, they started getting pretty known. They were all over the place. This album was everywhere. The Dusk EP too, but yeah, I don't know. When I was looking up, I didn't even know that a couple of these guys went on to that band Inverloch out of Australia, which is apparently similar. I've never heard them. I've seen their name all over the place, but I'm not really familiar with them, so I don't have an opinion about them. So two of the Disembowelment guys are in that band, Inverloch. So I don't know. If it's something that you think I might like, leave me a comment. Maybe it'll kick my ass into high gear and go check it out. I got so much other shit going on half the time. I can't focus on that sometimes, other stuff. But Morning September, Disembowelment, classic shit. Fuck yeah. Love it. What's up, Renato? And he's not in the band anymore. Don't know what he's up to, but thanks for the sickening music, brother. Okay, fuckers, on to the next demo, the next band. Excruciate. Mutilation of the Past. Part of the insane Stockholm, Sweden scene. Formed in 1989. So I used to write to Johan. So obviously I was obsessed with Swedish bands even back then. So even fucking wearing one today, baby. Fled to Convulsion, fucking rules. Gonna have to do this demo at some point. But anyways, we're talking about Excruciate. So they were, like I said, they were part of that Stockholm explosion. Mutilation of the Past, fucking rules. It was put out in 1990. 5 songs and an intro. The songs are Eternal Incubation, Inhumation Postnatal. These crazy fucking Swedes, man. Bubonic Plague. There we go. Slow Death. There we go. Beyond the Circle. Yeah, a little easier than Inhumation Postnatal. But I get it, Carcass was fucking popular, in the underground back then. So everybody's getting all crazy. Eternal Incubation. That's why there's song titles like that. Because of fucking Carcass. So let's play a little bit of the Excruciate demo here.
This body lies so still. You misgive me into myself. This body lies so still. You misgive me into myself. Do it. Do it. Do it. Give it.
Yeah. Mutilation of the Past. I guess I had edited that song clip weird. There's like 2 songs. There was that pause there. I was like, oh shit, what did I do? I only grabbed a few seconds of the one. So that was a bridge between those 2 songs. So hey, this fucking show is about raw, sloppy fucking demos. The show is fucking raw and sloppy too, right? So if you're looking for some pro-produced fucking slick type shit, go tune into one of those fancy channels, fancy shows. So anyways, they did the Hymns of Mortality demo after this classic Mutilation of the Past, and I never got this one. I lost contact with Johan after the first demo. You know, it's just one of those things. He got busy doing his thing. So I didn't get a chance to get this demo, and don't know much about it, but I know, you know, they rule. And real quick, here's their classic logo. If you're familiar with that, you might see that around. It's cool. These days I see that patch quite a bit on some of the younger generation. I see shirts around. So obviously somebody made some shirts. Some of these younger cats rocking Excruciate shirts, man. I always smile. And there's the boys. A dude in the back, top left, looks like he might be going to a soccer game. He's going to take off his obituary shirt, put on his jersey, and go fuck some people up. The rest of the boys, you know, chilling in the leather. They kind of look more like power metal dudes in this picture, but they play some fucking heavy death, man. Fucking A. Let's see. They did the split with Epitaph in 1991. Thrash Records, I talk about that label quite a bit. I think I'm going to do a episode just on Thrash Records out of France because they had so much killer shit. I've already mentioned several episodes, all kinds of stuff, 7 inches and albums and whatnot, but they did the split with Epitaph. And I guess some of the craziest underground death metal releases of all time are part of this. So, no, you know what? I'm reading the notes wrong here. This was on Infest Records, actually. My bad. So I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that didn't make sense. Infest Records actually did some cool stuff too. So my apologies. I actually was fact checking on this episode. Had some time to do a little bit more research. So yeah, they did this split with Epitaph on Infest Records, also out of France. I think that's why I got kind of confused. But yeah, Infest did a Burial 7-inch. They did that Psychosis, My Private Hell 7-inch that like seemed like everybody had. I seen that thing everywhere. I got a copy somewhere myself. And Torturer from Chile, they're fucking badass. Total cult death thrash, black death thrash band from Chile. The Chilean scene fucking rules. I have to cover some Torturer at some point. I definitely have some of their stuff. And yeah, this was a classic split because Epitaph fucking rules too. I love Epitaph. Love Excruciate. So great split. Great split. I had this back in the day. I no longer have it. Not sure what the hell happened to it. But yeah, it's one of the things that's I'm sad about for sure. I wasn't able to keep all of my collection, unfortunately. So the Thrash Records release, praising Thrash Records. Thrash Records put this Passage of Life album out. Classic, all-timer. 1993. Like I said, we covered all the killer bands on Thrash Records several times over already. And absolutely one of the best labels of all time. Like I said, I'll probably do a full episode on Thrash Records. And I have a lot of the discography, not all of it, but I'll have to definitely cover a lot of the releases that I do have and just talk about the whole discography, you know, because pretty much every single release that Thrash Records put out, from the 7 inches to the full lengths, are just bangers, you know, absolute classics. And I know that the Crypt actually did a really cool release where it's got the demos and the split on there, remastered. What's Up to Ted at the Crypt and Dark Symphonies, Ted Tringo. That's my guy. He actually, I think I talked about this in a prior episode, that he used to do the vinyl mastering for the Ruin stuff for a long time. He worked in conjunction with Gary because they knew each other. So they worked together, did a lot of studio work together and whatnot. So yeah, no, Ted has the Crypt and the Dark Symphonies label and puts out a lot of killer re-releases of old forgotten classics. So Excruciate got the Ted Tringo treatment, totally killer. So classic band and an absolutely classic demo, Mutilation of the Past. Love it. So let's move on. Yeah, that's funny. I had Thrash Records on the brain. I just think Thrash Records put out every classic release back then. So, hey, we got Infest Records on here. I totally forgot about that label. They're a cool label. Not a whole hell of a lot of releases, like a couple of the other smaller ones I've talked about in the past, but still classic. Last but not least, Funebre, Cranial Torment. Heavy fucking duty for sure. One of Finland's finest. I wrote to Essa early on, started finding out about Zeisma and Abhorrence and Funebre. That was the big three for me for Finnish death metal and grindcore. And so I wrote to Essa. He was all over the underground. This Cranial Torment ad was fucking everywhere. It was cool. They formed in 89 and the demo came out in 89. So they were quick. And 5 songs, the title track, also Necropolis, Decomposure, Brain Spoon, Carbonized, and Leprophiliac. That's where my boy got the name for his band. Leprophiliac, my boy Dopey over there in Spain, because I know he loves Funebre. So, yeah, they really fucking heavy fucking duty on this. This was quite a debut. And let me play some for you real quick. I'll be back. Fucking killer. Nice blast beats, heavy punked out energy there. Always had a nice little Genocide Repulsion, Autopsy vibe to Funebre. I fucking love this fucking band. Love this fucking demo, man. Killer production too for, that era. Just kind of interesting. Fucking you hear everything. It's nice and raw. It's just this is a special fucking demo for sure. One of my all-time favorites. I mean, most of these are, but this one definitely has a special place in my dark heart. So here's their classic logo. Fuck yeah. Here's the boys. Kind of definitely have more of a power metal look for sure. But hey, they're ripping some fucking heavy death. Fuck yeah. Definitely rocking the denim and leather the fucking Hessian way. There's the Cranial Torment cover with the songs. And next, they did the demo 90. It's interesting. Bring this cover back. Fucking up over here. I got the demo 92, not 92, the demo 90 as well here. And Essa also put kind of like a rough version of the Brain Spoon 7-inch tracks on the other side or after, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there's the demo 90, some more classics. This is fucking heavy duty too. Totally killer. And here is the Brain Spoon 7-inch. And I have this. I got to hunt it down once I do some 7-inch stacks episodes. But yeah, this was killer. It was on Whisper in the Darkness Records out of Germany. And it's another classic label. I've mentioned them before, I believe. They only did like a handful of releases. They did an Impetigo and an Unslaughter and FUNEBRE. So they only did 3, according to my research. So totally fucking killer, though. Those are killer fucking bands. If you're going to do some stuff, they picked the right bands for sure. This was interesting, too. I never got a copy of this, but it looked fucking killer. Weird Tales of Madness. This was on Black Death Records out of Germany, so they had some German connections. This was released in 1991. I'm sorry, going back, the Brain Spoon 7-inch was released in 1990 as well. So, but this compilation was released in 1991. It had Phlegethon from Finland, really cool death thrash band. Necrophile from Japan, the mighty Necrophile. What's Up, Takashi? That's my guy. Atrocious from the Netherlands was a really cool, underrated doom death band. Very slow, heavy, killer stuff. Desolation from Greece was a death metal band. Actually had Sakis from Riding Christ in it. He left the band to focus on Riding Christ. But Desolation was cool. I believe I have their demo as well. Talk about that in the future. And then Tormentor from the Netherlands, who I not too familiar with off the top of my head. I have to look them up. I mean, but the funny thing is I might even have one of their fucking demos. I got so many of these goddamn things, I can't even keep track of them half the fucking time. So, and then everybody should be aware of the classic Children of the Scorn album. Fuck yeah. One of my favorites. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because this may or may not be on one of the LP Classic Death Metal LP shows. So I didn't want to bust it out for this episode because I'm saving it. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. You'll see. But Spine Farm Records actually put this out in 1991. They are world renowned now at this point. A lot of Finnish bands. But they started off, pretty heavy underground. Beharit, Sentenced, Zeisma. They did some Dark Tranquility, Amorphous, and then they moved on to mainstream stuff. The Finnish opera metal and all that kind of stuff that blew up in the mainstream that, Finland's kind of known for these days, if you're into that type of stuff. And then this is a Dave Rotten Extreme Music re-release. I don't know much about it, but I did see it. It looked pretty fucking cool. I don't know if he put it out on one of the 10-inch things or if it's a 12-inch, but he does vinyl of a lot of old classic demos. Totally fucking badass. If, you don't want to pay eBay and Discogs prices for some of this stuff. I mean, shit, some of this stuff's popping up on Amazon. I was cracking up. seeing some of these albums and demos on Amazon now. People are selling on their Facebook Marketplace, big money for, I'm sure this Cranial Torment demo, they're going to charge an arm and a leg for it. But you could always hit up Extreme Music and get your stuff there if you don't care about having the original. But, some people do. If you got the money and you want to hunt it down, I know some younger cats that, they do that. They get some originals, and sometimes they'll show me the demo. Hey, is this legit? Did I get ripped off? And I'll look at it going, oh yeah, that's so-and-so's writing. No, that's legit. Or, you can just tell by the look of the tape and whatnot. So, classic stuff. Funebre, Cranial Torment. Fucking love it. All timer. That's going to conclude this Demo Stacks episode, you crazy motherfuckers. I appreciate you as usual. Like I said, I got some cool stuff lined up. Got some black metal demo shows and some of the LP stuff I was talking about. I'll be doing some classic LP shows, and kind of hesitant about doing some more radio. I know people have been asking, and they like the radio show format, kind of like a podcast type thing. They just play it in their car, and I'm kind of like the DJ. I fucking love doing it, and I'm really disappointed about the copyright stuff. So I am planning on doing some more. I just got to rearrange some of my playlist stuff, and a lot of times if you find live footage of some of the classic songs, that stuff's not copyrighted. So just play the live version or whatever. That's what I have been doing. So I got to go through some of those old playlists and do some replacements, because I know there's certain bands and certain labels, stuff on certain labels it's a big no-no. I already know it's going to be a problem. So I haven't even bothered with it. I've been trying to do this type of content just to get stuff on the show, and also focusing on some of the interviews. I got a couple of good ones coming up that I just need, like I said, I just need to hammer out the schedule, but I got one for sure next weekend with an old friend. And then I might even have one tomorrow that I'll be uploading, but we'll have to see about scheduling or whatnot. So it's all good, man. Life gets in the way sometimes, but thank you for tuning in to Welcome to Hell episode 15. This is the Demo Stacks volume 6. I am your friendly neighborhood Mike Abominator. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, spread it around to people that you think might be interested. And again, fucking appreciate you, crazy sickos. And tune in next time. I'm getting out of here. Have a good one. And a better one tomorrow.